Hi, gentlemen. Very nice to have you in this conference today. Uh, we have spoken, the top three entrepreneurial skills that made you what you are today, whether you are a successful person that you call yourself successful or you call yourself a better entrepreneur, what are those three things that actually contributed for you to be at that level? Okay, so that is what the discussion would be today. Each of you will be given some time, about 10-15 minutes to talk about it. We have one more person who should join us, Dilip Noni. I hope he will join in another 15-20 minutes time. He had some meeting, so he called up and requested that he can join later. Because everybody wants to know who you are, what business you do, what made you successful, what made you a better entrepreneur. Everybody wants to hear this. I'm making a list like this of all the people, whatever they have written. So far, if you see, we have about 108 competencies we have compiled so far. All three are, these are all three competencies. So what I will do is at the end of all this, for example, take focus. In focus, what Pierman said and what Harsha said, what it is, how it is, all that will be presented to you in a PowerPoint presentation. So after this program, maybe after a week or two, I will make a PowerPoint presentation for about an hour in terms of the findings of this particular thing and how it is linked to Dr. Pierman and Harsha's theories of entrepreneurship. So that is what we will be presenting it to you. Now, though we may have 108, when you compile them, there will be 10 or 15 and not more than that. So this is the thing. So what we will do is first we will do introductions. So I request Deepesh to do your introduction. Take a minute and tell what business is, what business you are in. A minute, more than a minute or less than a minute, but just take a minute and then explain what your business is. Briefly, you explain. Then Vidyadhar will explain. Then we will go back to those three entrepreneur skills. Okay, so that's how we will do. So Deepesh, the mic is to you.
Hello, sir. So my name is Deepesh Kumar Agarwal. I am an entrepreneur at Jagrama Motors. We deal in car accessories distribution for Andhra and Telangana. We have a branch at Vijayawada at Hyderabad. We are in this business since 1988. It's a family business started by my grandfather in 1988. Then looked by my father. Now I am looking it around. Okay. Our annual turnover is around 15 to 20 CR. And our vision is to grow by every year, adding on with our new distributor channels, team building, and have a good vision to expand the business. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So Vidyadhar, you may want to go ahead now and do your own introduction, please.
Yeah. Very good morning. I went to school to be a doctor and got into hospital management and was an employee for many years. And this is my first time being an entrepreneur. I'm into wealth management and into many other, branches that have been planned. And it's an exciting journey. Since we have the best of the best coaches. So, yeah, that's my introduction.
So if you can tell what company is that wealth management and all that.
Yeah. My company name is Inari Wealth Management. It's been a couple of years now. And we're close to around 50 crores in AUM. Our target is to, reach 100 crores in the next 6 to 8 months.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So let's quickly jump into what are the three entrepreneurial skills that made you a better entrepreneur or a successful entrepreneur, whichever way you want to describe. The whole idea is what were you and how it became better, and you felt to know these are the three things that are actually helping you. So who wants to start first?
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll tell you in comparison with, where since I'm a first time entrepreneur, so doing a job and then in compared to, working in a job as compared to an entrepreneur is, first point is I most understood the value of time. where, as an employee, you're given a certain tasks, which, you can keep postponing, but really it won't have an impact, on anything. And you don't realize that until, your review is actually taken in jobs. But here as an entrepreneur, you have to be on top of each of the tasks and actually finish them on time. If not, just keep piling up, and they keep piling up hour after hour. So you have to be on top of things to be on track of your goals, basically. So wherever you want to reach, that's one very important one. I actually this one found out. So second is actually problem solving, and problem solving on a timely basis. So you can't really postpone many of the challenges that you have. You need to be creative, figure out, how to actually get over each challenge on a timely manner. So you delay it, it's like a ticking time bomb. You don't know when it'll actually go off. So I've done that as an entrepreneur, and actually I had some very bad results. So so I had to change that. And the third is, the value of relationships, business relationships. So which percolates even into, credibility, and how entrepreneur to entrepreneur, interaction actually is very critical. And what do they expect from you? What do you expect from them? Those channels have to be kept very, very clear. So for that actually helped me to grow from where I was to today. Yeah. So these are three top ones. That's my experience in the last couple of years.
Okay. Can you expand a bit on, on value of time? I understand problem solving timely. If you don't do it, then it becomes really very big. I understand that. But you talked about business relationships, right? So credibility and all that. So can you expand it a bit? You said channels should be kept clean or clear.
Yeah, very, very clear. So for example, suppose we are looking for say a referral who can actually get us business. What is the referral expecting from you? First question. When you go to him, is he expecting anything in return? Before he even gives you anything, is he expecting anything in return? Is what you need to put the card on the table, saying, sir, I'm here for a referral. If you give me a referral, what is it that you're expecting from me? So he says, boss, I want you to actually deliver what you're promising to my client. So if you don't deliver, then my credibility is on the line. Right. So then we have to look at, okay, the referral whom he's going to give, what is that person also expecting from me? Because now once I get connected to him, he probably is, expecting A, B, C. And if I can't deliver that, right, you should actually back off. You should not, just for the sake of business, you don't want to go and actually pick up the referral. So if you cannot deliver today, maybe tomorrow you can. If you're not able to deliver today, you don't have the tools to deliver that today, don't take it up. So because again, these two guys will get talking and they'll say, nah, this guy is not really good. And then so you created two guys who can actually refer another two guys who will say, no, this he was not able to deliver mine. I don't know if he's going to deliver for you. So those lines of communication, if it's kept very clear, I think that's what I learned in the last 2 years. I've done mistakes, but I corrected them.
Another point which I will talk to you, because you talked about big numbers, 50 crores to 100 crores, your business is like that, very big numbers and all that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I will be now going to Deepesh, but I will give you time to think over a thing that probably you didn't have time to think, but I will give you the question now. I'll leak the question now so that you'll have enough time to think about it and then come back. So the question is this, that what you think, because you have multiple businesses, it is not just the wealth management, you are into various things, different, you have a clinic, you have clinic meaning fairly good size clinic.
Yes.
You have other businesses, real estate and all that stuff. Okay. So business is not new to you, though you may call yourself a first time entrepreneur and all that. You may be first generation entrepreneur, so to speak. Okay, and that too, a long career in corporate and now moving into entrepreneurship. So, from your experience, what is the importance of having co-founders, partners, and all of that? So, think about it. In the meantime, I will ask Deepesh to expand his three things. Deepesh, you have around 10 minutes time. That's the maximum time. Or even if you want more, I can give you. It is not a problem. Please explain what you meant by those three things that you have mentioned. So I'm bringing it on the screen. I think what you mentioned, if I know it right, is, where did I go? Here, planning, dedication, and vision. Okay. So can you just explain? Don't worry about the management jargon and all that stuff, because that is for consultants like me to do. But you explain in your own words what you think, how you do it, so that remember one thing: your experience is more important to entrepreneurs than your management skills. Okay, because if your experience itself will speak about the management skills, so don't worry too much about the management jargon. So go ahead, please explain what you mean by that.
My 3 points for entrepreneurship is planning, dedication, and a vision. See, we were from a family business. I joined a family business. There was no vision. एक चीज हमारे को स्टार्टिंग से सिखाया जाता है कि भाई बिजनेस है, बिजनेस ज्वाइन करना है आपको स्टडीज होते की. As soon as my 10th I have completed my boards, direct from the exam center I joined the business. So it's like आपको कोई विजन सेट नहीं करना है, आपको जो दे रहे हैं फैमिली वो लेना है आपको. But after that, coming into the business, working for 10 years, now we have a mind. We should have a vision where we have to take our business to, where we have to stand in future. So that's the vision important. And to setting a vision, we should have a planning. Planning in the sense, everything should be in the proper manner. पहले फैमिली बिजनेस में कैसा था, जैसा चीज आता रहता है वैसा करते रहते थे. जो सामने आया उसको फेस करना है, कंप्लीट करना है, चैलेंजेस को एक्सेप्ट करना है, कंप्लीट करना है. वैसा नहीं, सब चीज प्लान वे में, एक डेडिकेटेड वे में करना है काम. That is very important, because when we have planning, if any hurdles in the middle, we have a solution for that immediately. If we don't have planning, any hurdles in the middle, we have to struggle for that to get it solved. That's the first thing. Second is dedication. Whatever we are planning, we should have dedication to complete it. And whatever work we are doing, let it be a small venture, a small business or a big business, we should have dedication against it. Before GST, we were working in a easy manner. 4 years back. After in 4 years when GST came, we got plenty of opportunities. We started working since morning 10 o'clock to evening to night 12 o'clock. Weekly force, we used to work till midnight also, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock भी. तो dedication है तो काम अपन आज स्टेज पे आए. From 550 lakhs monthly turnover, so we have come to 1.5 CR monthly turnover. So dedication pays off anytime.
Yeah.
And with dedication, we should have honesty also with people.
Correct.
And then a vision when we have to go next step. The vision will take you to the future sense. एक विजन रहेगा तो आपको काम से आगे बढ़ाने का, खींचेगा वो आपको वहां पर. आगे एक कैसे will attract you.
Okay.
To do work.
Yeah. See, one question I have for you also, which I will again give you time. You can think about it. I'll go to Vidyadhar and again I'll come back. For you also, the question leak. Here is a question leak. Most of your community, you start business small and you scale them. Okay, you start business and you scale the business. What is that you people do? What is that you people do which helps you scale a business? So you people do a lot of things. So you scale the businesses. So what are the things you actually do to scale a business? What are the things, if you have to give advice to somebody, let's say I'm coming to you and saying, Dipesh bhai, I want to start a business. So to scale it, what advice you will give for a young fellow? Let's say I'm a very young fellow came and your own community boy, I came and asked you. So what advice you will give? Think about it. I'll go to Vidyadhar and then I'll come back to you. And Dilip, hi, welcome. What we will do is, this is becoming like Arnab Goswami's channel for me, switching from one to the other. Give a question, ask them to think and go to the next person. Okay. So Dilip.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, hi. So thank good that you joined back. I hope your meeting went off well. What I want you to do is, I want you to do a 1-minute introduction, and followed by that, your 3 competencies or skills that you mentioned have made you better. So what I will do, there are 2 people who will speak and then it will come to you. Okay. You will be the last person, but see how it is going and then it will come back to you. Okay. All right, great. So Vidyadhar, your question now. The question is, how to have a co-founder, whether we should have a co-founder or not. What are the things we should be careful about when we have a co-founder or a partner, or whichever way. Modern companies, they say co-founder. Other businesses call it a partner.
My answer is going to be a creative answer, because I've never thought about it until you just asked me on this call right now.
Yeah.
I think if you can have a partner, that saying that, one brain, 3 brains or 4 brains, or as a group, a team brain is better than just a single one. So your creativity in terms of, growing your business probably will, whatever area you apply that teamwork to, it will definitely have a better outcome, is what I think. I don't know in practice because I've never implemented that at a corporate level. At a founder and a co-founder level. And if you have a co-founder, I think that, now you can actually duplicate your time. So 2 people putting their time into growing the business actually is better than 1. So if you have a very good team, like say maybe you have 3, 4, 5 co-founders, then the chances of, you really reaching your milestones, solving problems, being creative probably is better, is what I think, because now it's a team. So now for that to happen, again, like-minded, there are many factors that actually contribute to why these guys even have to come together in the first place. So sometimes when you start a company, you may, start off alone, and then along your journey, you pick up your partners at a company level. If I don't have the fortune of, having a co-founder when I started the business. So while going along, probably if somebody comes along who can actually add value to, the company in terms of business, in terms of whatever blind spot I have, if they can actually compensate for that area, then I think definitely co-founders will play their role. Now, this is completely theory, which is in my head. I have not seen it anywhere. There are companies who are doing fantastic like this, but I have actually not interacted with co-founders on that. I think, sir, you should actually tell me if what I said is true or not, because it's all theory. It's all from what I think about co-founding and all that. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you were, to a large extent, you were right in what you said.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's go to Deepesh, and Deepesh, you may want to answer the question that I asked you. It is about, what is the advice you will give to scale a business?
My advice for scaling up the business is not to go to a new business.
Say it again.
Not to go to a new business.
Not to go to a new business. Like people come and ask advice. भाई नया business चालू करना है, क्या करो? नया line बताओ बोल के पूछते हैं वो लोग. So my answer, I learned it from my dad. Don't go to a new business. What existing business is, try to expand it, trying to scale it up.
Okay.
Because what is the existing business, you are experts in that. So getting the failure chances are points. Okay. In a new business, you have huge risk because they are already the leaders in the market in the new line which you are going.
Okay. So question is, how do you scale the business? What are the things you should do to scale the business?
Sir, high point, we have to see where we have scope of expanding the new business.
Hmm.
What is the scope, where we can expand the business, and what are the mistakes we are going on in the current business, to point out there and solve it, to build a team.
So there is no easy answer. Only thing is you have to sit down and see the scope, identify what mistakes you are doing, what is not working, what is working, see them, and then try to put money and all that. So when there is no money, how do we bring money? See, whenever usually it happens, right? If you want to
Yes, sir.
scale, you have to put some money.
Yeah, 100%.
How you suggest that it should be done?
The proper financing, sir. If you have a scope of investing in with your own funds, that is best option.
Hmm.
Otherwise, getting finance is at a minimum interest of rate. It's not any what we say heavy interest or any what we say hidden charges. I think
Usually you think bank is a better place to go for
best,
loans?
best is the bank, sir.
Best is the bank. Give some collateral, take the bank.
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
Because in today's scenario, from bank you get interest by 7.58%. You get a loan
Correct.
per annum. There is in our मारवाड़ी भाषा में बोल सकते हैं अपन चालाने का ब्याज बोलते 0.75 per month.
Okay.
Yeah, sir.
All right. Okay. Wonderful. Great. Good. Thank you very much. So let's go to the man who just came, and I'm sure he got to figure out what happened so far.
Yes, yes.
Dilip, go ahead. What you have to do is you have to do a quick introduction about what business is yours.
Yeah.
What?
Hi guys. I'm Dilip Muni. I'm a migration agent in Australia, migration lawyer over there, and I'm sending people to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and UK on permanent residency. So straight away green card from India. For professionals, trade people, students is another one, business people. So these are my major things, and I just don't believe in giving them a solution on visa is all about. I always believe in they settling down in those countries is my end motive. So I will be in touch with them till the time they settle down there. That is my main motive and my main mantra of growing in my business.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. You do any other business apart from this?
That's it. Same as what the other person was saying. I don't believe in having multiple businesses. If I have a business, it will be in the same industry. So previously I was doing for Australia and New Zealand. I've added up Canada and UK. That's where I scaled up, but I didn't get into some other product.
Okay, so what you're basically saying is existing business, try to expand that existing business rather than get into a new business. That's what you said, huh? And find out where the mistakes are and then plug those mistakes.
Correct.
So what Dipesh was saying was an absolute truth. Yeah, Vidyadhar, jump in.
I want to add a point here. I believe in diversification in business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a person, I will never stick, I cannot stick to just one business.
See, I'll ask you this question. I'll slightly reframe it so that you tell me. See, you have a wealth management company.
Yes.
You have a construction company.
Yes.
You have a clinic.
Yes.
And there are multiple other things that are there in your.
Yeah.
So you already are diversified in different areas.
Yes.
Right. So whatever Dipesh said, of course, he's not here to listen to what he just got.
Oh, Dipesh left. Dipesh left.
Okay. He just left. You're not on a this thing, is it? On a screen where you can see everyone?
Yeah, we can see everyone.
Gallery. Put it in a gallery mode, huh?
Yeah, we can see everyone.
Yeah.
So
as a wealth manager, he always every wealth manager says not to put everything in one basket.
Okay, so what do you have to say, Vidyadhar? Because you said multiple diversified, no?
Yeah, yeah. So
Investments also, you don't put it in one basket, you put it in different areas.
no, sir, no, sir. Here is a big,
Go ahead.
There's a point. I mean, that's like a very generic term saying, you have to diversify.
Hmm.
What diversification means is you need to understand where the money has to flow today.
Hmm.
It may not have to be there tomorrow also.
Hmm.
You should, a lot of people say, okay, I've invested in this and I'll actually sit here on this for 100 years.
Hmm.
That's not the way how wealth is created.
Hmm.
You should actually, like, for example, I'll give an example of the stock markets that actually go on a day-to-day basis.
Hmm.
Every day some sector actually performs, or if you actually look at a quarter, there are few sectors who perform, few sectors won't perform.
Hmm.
But then if you see over the next quarter, the sectors which performed in the last quarter may not perform in the next sector.
Correct.
So your investments must be moved. You should have investment strategies to actually move your investments into those sectors which are performing today.
Correct.
Diversification does not really mean, you actually park 1 rupee in 10 different places.
Correct. No, you tell from a business standpoint. See, from an
Yeah.
investment standpoint, I
What-
completely understand that you have the flexibility of moving your funds from the stocks which are doing well to stocks which are doing extremely well.
Yeah,
Move
yeah.
out of poor stocks to the better stocks. All this is fine in a stock market type of
End of the day, same business.
But in building business,
Yeah.
Deepesh said, just stick to your existing business and expand. And Dilip is also saying, I expanded my business.
Correct.
You are saying, no, I am in multiple businesses. So the question is, if you have to diversify, because you have to build it to scale, right? You have to take it to a level. Otherwise, the business will remain like, like a retirement home.
Correct.
Okay.
So what I do. So now I have about 4 businesses that I handle on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So I compartmentalize how much time I'm going to spend on each business. And I pick up my top priority 3 tasks to actually complete on priority basis in that business. And I delegate them to the people, to the management to actually execute that. So I am now managing my business, right? So in these 3 hours, or, suppose say I divide that into 4 hours and it's 12 hours. Being an entrepreneur, I understand 12 hours is like a minimum you need to put in. And if I were to choose my business and I can't put the businesses which I chose, right? I can't put 12 hours into that. I won't be doing anything in that. I don't have 12 hours to actually sit on one business. So 3 hours effectively, I can actually be very productive in actually identifying the challenges, problem solving, and delegating the tasks to the appropriate people to get that done.
Okay.
So it's like, it's like in a single business, you're managing different departments. That's how I actually look at all the 4 businesses. And I say, Asha, this department needs this work today. That department needs that work today.
But there is no interconnectivity. One business doesn't have the interconnectivity.
No. It should not have. And
the only advantage is that, you can loan out to another company if there is any financial requirement.
yes.
But it shouldn't be the case that, one business is eating away the profits of another business.
Yeah. No.
I've worked in large groups and I've seen one business takes away the funds of another business.
Okay.
Anyway, we will come to that. We will go with Dilip Noni. Dilip, you can give your opinion, and then you can also word and tell us what those 3 skills which made you successful. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So before I go with that, sir, I just want to continue, just add up more on the Vidyadhar's thing. What, to an extent, we need to also diversify, to be honest, because pandemic has taught me something in that area. See, now because my business has totally shut because of the borders were closed across, and whichever country I look into, every country is closed. And because of that, there is no movement in my business because of the borders closure. If I don't have another avenue where I have a flow of money, so that is actually stopping the growth in the business where I am. So that's actually what he says is to an extent good if you have real good people to implement things. Not your whole time goes into that.
Basically, you're saying you should have secured way of doing things. So there should be a revenue flow from one place or the other. There should be some income coming from.
Correct.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Alternative ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Very valid point. Very valid point, actually.
So I was, my 3 points where I was actually trying to tell about is be positive at all times and situations. This is my first point. And believe in yourself and should have risk-taking guts in your life. These are the 3 mantras which I feel which helped me out in growing in my business. The reason why be positive at all times and any situation, because always situations try to change your mindset, and they are the one which test you whether you're doing the right way or not. And being positive only gives you right ideas. And if you don't believe in you, all your decisions will go into wrong. Whether it is correct or wrong, believe in yourself. Then automatically your mind will give you ideas to get out of that situation, whatever, good or bad. And if you don't take risk, there is no money. Risk is money. So you need to have risk-taking guts. Sir, you are actually on mute, Ashaji.
Go ahead. Now you explain. Now that I have written them down,
Yes.
go ahead and explain one by one your own experiences. You can go ahead and tell. Yeah.
Sir, to be honest, I have, initially started my career as an employee and then learned things and, and I started, doing things myself. So initially I have been as a software engineer, and then I done counseling, I've done HR and all these things where I gained some experience. And there was no growth. I was only feeling, having a positive attitude that I can grow. And I have put off all of my money, went to and looked into that scope where there is a scarcity of a particular profession. And analyzed the scarcity, which is a scarcity area, and analyzed how to achieve it, put all my money, went on to take a risk and learned that skills. And then I have done a little bit of, hard work at that point of time itself to gain work for free for few people to gain experience. And from there, that was the turning point, because there was no money in my hand and I was doing free work, but I was only having experience. And that actually gave me all the ideas how to come out of that particular situation. And from there, I started everything fresh. I came back to India, started offices, and but one mantra which my father gave me is saying that even you're doing a small work, don't go with loan, because when the loan comes into picture, your mind is always onto the loan than the business. Maybe you go slow, but go without loan or with a very minimal loan. So I started slow with a very minimal investment. I didn't grow faster as my peers or market people are there, but I am sustainable. Even in the pandemic, I have no problem in, I did not take out anybody from my company. I have sufficient work and I was able to, manage things. Only thing is, I am a spiritual guy. I'm not too ambitious. So I believe that money is only part of life. Time spending on yourself is the major thing. So you need to balance your life. That is where you're wealthy. A wealthy person is not just money person who has family, friends, time for yourself. That is a wealthy person.
Excellent. Very good. So how these things that what you said fitted into this?
Sir?
You have mentioned those competencies, right? Risk, no risk, and all of these things.
So I was getting so many bashers, so many problems at every point of my growth. And I was being always positive, thinking that whatever may be the things, I should handle it. And I keep on taking risks, even at the time of, the reverse bashes. And that risk actually paid me money.
Okay. So what is the advice you will, if you have to give advice from your experience to somebody on risk, what are the 1, 2, 3 things you will say?
See, when there is a risk to be taken, don't think how the future will be. Then you will never get into that particular sector. Just you feel that this is a risk, be positive that it will be working out, and start working on it. Then automatically, belief in yourself will achieve you the outcome. All three are connected.
Okay. Okay. Right. So any tricks you do for risk taking? A lot of people have, if you ask me, Harsha, how do you take risk? I see, okay, this risk has got how much reward? What is that I will get out of it?
So my advice is,
what do you do?
Spend a little money on market research. Go with 10 people, ask in a different way how exactly they feel about this. And there are also market research companies in the market. Don't go by what exactly they give. Just knowledge and information by it, and go by what your inner self says.
So you're saying go by your gut. Okay. Very good.
The market research will give you all the pointers where you can expect problems.
Okay. Yeah. Will give problems where you can expect problems. Correct. Very nicely.
When you know where you can expect, you can handle it easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said situations make you a different person, but try to stay positive and something like that you said. What do you mean by that?
Always when there is what you call difficult times comes in, if you're not positive, you will be going down. And difficult times are the one which teach you more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at that time, you need to be positive, then automatically you'll get a way out of it.
So it is like, you don't have money, you do, sometimes you don't have work, you have things like this. So be positive, try to understand where things are going, like Deepesh said, where things are going, analyze that work and then move forward. That's what you said.
I believe in energy, sir. Everything is energy. Money is energy. We are energy. So if you're giving a positive energy for a particular thing, then that energy will always take into the right form. If you're giving a negative energy, automatically, even it is going to go in the right form, it is going to go into, it will actually destruct it.
Okay. Got it. All right. Anything else you people want to say? I think we covered fairly good ground. We have a couple of minutes to close. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add on what Dilip was saying about being positive. Being positive actually is what I have experienced is it's more of an attitude than a quality itself. So when you have that positive attitude, if you, like he said, when you have a problem, you're not contemplating on what could go wrong more. You're trying to, figure out how do I actually get over the problem. And it starts off with, you consciously doing this, and then it becomes part of your own, that's wired into you, and then it becomes your attitude. So most successful entrepreneurs whom I actually look up to have that. And for example, Harsha sir, I think I've seen that in you a lot. I've never seen you negative anytime. So even if you have the biggest problem in the world, that positive attitude can actually get you over to, it'll make you think about, how do I get over this, rather than thinking about, oh God, now what? So that's what I actually have figured out in being after I start this journey about how it impacts even problem solving.
See, one of the things, because you brought it up, so I will say very quickly.
Yeah.
One of the things I have always been practicing, even today, it is very difficult, but I try to practice it, is to see things as they are. Okay. In the sense that what will happen is, let us say you see there is a problem and you see it with a bigger lens, it looks very big for you. If you try to understand where the problem is, how big the problem is, you analyze, because problems can be sometimes very big and small, and you try to work out a solution for it to solve it, it becomes easy. See, for me, I was directly into fire. I don't know what is a pan. I was always in fire. I used to do industrial relations with unions. So I don't know, when I go to my office, from my head office to factory, in my auto, there used to be an auto which we used to use, So when I go back to the factory, I don't know what problem I will have in the factory. So some people are striking in front of a canteen. Some people are doing something else. Some people are just sitting and whiling away. We don't know what it is. Our union president may have come, and all people have just gone out to have tea and discuss what needs to be done in working hours. So I don't know what problem I'm facing. Okay. So I was always in fire. I was never in a pan directly into fire. So the thing that gave me that actually helped me quite early in my career was that how do I always stay in a mind frame where I understand things as they are and then plan a way out. That is what I used to think. So problem solving and all that, a lot of people give credit to me, but that is how simple I kept it. Anyway, let me try to summarize it and close the meeting. Go ahead.
1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
So I would have talked about positivity. The positive attitude will take you behind. It will take you future in further. आगे लेके जाएगा आपको positive attitude है तो.
Correct.
एक single negative attitude will break your strength also.
Correct. Absolutely.
And
should always find a way moving forward. Absolutely.
And we should not, what we say, any problem को देख के अपन मुंह छुपाना नहीं है. We should face it.
Absolutely correct. Face the problem, move forward. Correct.
Any type of problem है, बड़ा है, छोटा है, कुछ भी है, उसको face करना है.
Correct.
Like people phone नहीं उठाते, कुछ problem हो गया तो they don't answer calls, they don't come to meet.
Correct.
That is not the solution. You should face it, meet it, and solve it.
Absolutely correct.
And for this taking, sir, this should be taken in the business. Without this, there is no business.
Correct.
But it should be calculated. This
should be calculated. Correct.
What will gain if the risk is success, and what will lose? It's 100% risky.
Yeah.
You have to take it out.
Yeah.
The first think it out and take it.
Correct. Absolutely.
Because once this taking negative, if it goes negative, it will affect you 10 times in other points.
Absolutely.
In other work.
Okay, so wonderful. It was great talking to each one of you. It was really very good. Good, Dilip, that you could come back so that we could do. So two people, Vidyadhar runs a wealth management company called Inari, and Deepesh runs Jagadamba Motors. You must have seen the name there under his this thing.
Yes.
It's a fairly big size,
I would like to take the number of Vidyadhar ji because
they'll put it in the group. Yeah.
He's in the group. Okay, good.
He's in the group. There is one sheet which they have put their names, and in that sheet there is a sheet in which their names are there. You can download that sheet anytime. It is in the group.
Okay, it's in the group. Okay.
It's in the group. I'll send it to you also. You can log in and then download that sheet. It is there available. Everybody's numbers are available in that.
Okay.
Okay. Those who wanted to share, about 30, 40 names are there in that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Many in our group are very quiet. That's the reason I'm doing this, so that people will come together. Okay. So thank you very much.
That's good, to be honest.
Sir, Sir,
ahead.
I think, Harsha sir,
Yeah.
you should organize a meet of all of us. Yeah.
See, what happened is that before the pandemic, Lakshminarayan actually booked Park Hyatt.
Okay. Okay.
We all were supposed to meet in Park Hyatt for a dinner.
Okay.
But what happened? The pandemic hit and we had to cancel it. We were about to pay the money at that point of time. It got cancelled because Lakshminarayan said he will sponsor it. Subsequently, many others said, no, we will also sponsor it. The whole idea was take Park Hyatt. We all will gather there, maybe with our families. Then we will have a stall for all of us. Each one will put a stall. And then we will invite a big minister or somebody like that, okay, who will come there so that they will take the round in the stalls, so they will see the stalls. Plus, what will happen is you will be on the stage. We will make some small book of all the people, what business we do, what is our success. We wanted to do a one-pager and inaugurate that book so that that is available to everyone. That was a major plan. But anyway, it did not happen. Pandemic. Maybe we will do it in 2023 or 22. We will see how it happens. But till that time, we should have something. So that is why we are trying to do this. We're trying to bring people together. Let's try to use this forum very well.
The informal gatherings have a bigger impact than formal, sir.
Absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. But unfortunately, we have a pandemic. Because of our meeting, people should not become, sick. That's the whole idea, because of which we are not doing it. Anyway, so Dilip, Deepesh, and Vidyadhar, thank you very much for sharing your success stories. We have recorded this whole event, so these events will be shared with you. So far, we have done about nine videos, including this. 9 videos, 9 into 3, roughly how many people? So those many number of people. 27? Is it 27?
Yeah, 27.
27. Yeah. See, I went to school. So 27 and 9 hours of success stories. Of course, some in between, some chit chat, but yeah, 9 hours of time that is available. So in a week's time, we will connect once again, hopefully, because I'll compile all these things and I will make a PowerPoint presentation. In the PowerPoint presentation, you will get to know what you have said, what Dr. PMN had said, and what Harsha said. So all the 3 things you will get to. Now it will be like a PowerPoint, which you can, I'll share it with you so that you can use it for your further reference. Yes.
So whose is right, sir? So whose is right? If you have those 3, then whose will be right? Whose is the benchmark to go by?
That doesn't matter. I'll compare it to the global standards.
So I just wanted to ask you, or all 3 of you, see, I see that the pandemic is going to get extended for another 2 years. And in these scenarios, there are a lot of uncertainties, and what 2020 has taught, it is not actually happening in 2021. So what should be the plan of action should be for any businessman in the next 2 years, which is because the future looks is going to change every year.
I'll share, sir. Dilip, I'll share. Based on an R&D scientist who's my childhood classmate. He's an epidemiologist and he's a R&D scientist for a pharmaceutical company. He's actually, I mean, they create reports and these reports are submitted to pharma companies before the drug manufacturing is done. So in the first lockdown, he told me that there's going to be a 3-phased pandemic. Second phase, in exact timelines, what he had they had created a model of before the first wave itself, or I would say during the first wave. The next wave is going to be between December, Jan, and Feb. And then you will have, this is actually, if this holds good for the Asian subcontinent. By summer, by April, May, June, July, August, those 3-4 months, you'll only have sporadic, incidences of, COVID just in certain pockets of the Asian subcontinent. Post October, it's going to become, we are all going to be immune. I mean, it's going to be behind us. So your anticipation about 2 years, I think it's a little too long based on scientific, knowledge, what my friend shared with me. I am preparing that, probably till next summer, I'm a little slow on few things. but I'm creating all the aligning all my business sales in full force for that period of time. So whatever leaves they have to do, whatever groundwork you have to actually create so that your sales team is actually come to full force to capture business, right? I am planning actually to execute that from next summer. So till then, I'm going with the market. This is my view on the pandemic and what I'm doing with it.
So what I suggest is that you keep both. You keep a long term for your business, whether in the long term it will take off, how it will take off. Do some risk assessment in that. So when you do risk assessment from a long term perspective, first thing that you need to see is what is the money involved in this risk. Okay, how much money you will spend. Will you get any revenue or not? Those are the kinds of things. Cost and revenue. From that perspective, you do one quick analysis. Second analysis which you need to do is from an operations management. What COVID taught everyone is that you have to be really very good in your operations management. Operations management meaning day-to-day delivery of services, keep your business going, and all of that. Third most important thing is how people will work. Because it is very important for businesses like you. You have counselors, you have business development people, a lot of things that are there, and you have customers also, customer interface. That's the fourth point. But first, people. So what are the things that how your people will work? What new methods you have to give them, etc. Those things you have to spend a lot of time in it. If they break down, how it will work. A breakdown meaning, your Zoom, you said Zoom meeting, so Zoom doesn't work. What will you do? So some alternatives like that. So plan them. And then customer interface. How are you interfacing with the customer? That is what, some businesses require personal interaction. Some businesses require, like for example, Deepesh business, it has to be physical. The customers will come and take the physical stock. Okay. In my service, I can give anything online.
Sir, last year, we were so scared due to COVID. We stopped our retail business completely. We were not allowing any walk-ins.
You did not allow new walk-ins.
Yeah, no walk-ins. Unknown walk-ins, we were not allowing it.
Yeah. So that's the whole problem. We need to see that customer interface.
Yeah.
Physical, online.
What market is going on? We started in 2021, allowing all business.
Yeah. So this is from a long-term perspective. This is what you need to do, and bring that whole thing into short-term. There is no mid-term. Okay, remember that. There is no mid-term. It is just short-term and long-term. Long-term kya karna soch lena, and short-term mein uska pura you have, because why I'm saying short-term focus is, though you may plan a long-term, focus should be on short-term, because new laws are likely to come. If pandemic hits, things are going to be completely different. Lockdowns don't come with notice. Okay, sickness doesn't come with notice. They just happen and you will be stuck. So how are you going to do? So keep a good short-term focus. Next 3 months, mera paisa kahan se aayega? That is a focus you need to keep on working. At least for 1-2 years, you have to work like that. Unfortunately, there is no other solution, because you go to McKinsey, you go to BCG, you go to anybody, any big consulting company, this is what they will say. So that is as far as your existing business is concerned. If you are planning something in a new business, then you have to completely plan a new business which will take off. That requires a completely different discussion altogether. Okay. Hope this will be a good thing. So thank you very much. I'm concluding here. We have overshot the time by about 10 minutes. So thank you very much for being here. It was wonderful. We will catch up offline. Bye-bye. Thank you.